My name is Matty Tottenham. I'm the host of the W Number podcast based out of Massachusetts. I'm on Chatting with Stacks, bro.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Matty from the W Number podcast.
You know what I mean? That's why they put so many those little federal spots. Like they're these like, they look like, I don't know, maybe something like you're in right now.
Like a trailer, like a mobile unit type thing, right?
Right. And it says like the law enforcement on the side and they just post up in there in certain neighborhoods. It's crazy.
Then they just take people off the street constantly. Right. They're doing surveillance and all this.
You know, honestly, I don't even know, to tell you the truth. Like, I never seen them. You know what I mean? I never seen them.
Just all of a sudden, people are getting arrested around you, right?
Yeah, you know they're there. There's tons of Fed cases popping up all the time, so they're there.
How long do you stay out, and what happens next? Do you commit any more crimes and go right back?
Yeah, so I went to Atlanta, Georgia, for a little while on the run. All the cases, like I'd been stacking them up when I was on the run. As soon as I left the place in Brockton there, the veterans drug thing, I went crazy. I didn't really care. I didn't think much about what I was doing. I was drinking, getting in fights, robbing people and just doing madness. And I had cases following me around, but I took off. I went down to Atlanta. I was selling crack, like I said, and I had, got myself a little house and all legally, of course. Like I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't buy anything legally. I was not even of the right age to be doing that, but I had a partner. There's tons of kids and willing to do pretty much whatever to get the. So it's like, I got myself a little place and I got myself a couple little cars, just doing all right, man. And I was so young, but it's one day, so one day I'm coming home, right? And this is how it all kind of came crashing down with the thing. So I was coming home and I seen there was like black SUVs and some other people in the parking lot. And I'm like, I didn't want to turn around and run away because, there's other little apartments in the back. I didn't know if they were there for them or what, but I didn't want to like run and look wicked weird, So I kept on walking up to my back porch. And when I got to the stairs to go to the back porch, that's when they stepped over to me, said, "Hey, you live here?" I said, "No, I'm just coming to see a friend." And they're like, "Well, you tell your friend this house is shut down." And it was true. There was boards on the windows already. Like they nailed a board over the slider door. Like
So you come walking up and it's all boarded up.
Yeah. Well, not all boarded up, but the door and the window right there definitely had boards nailed over them. Like they wanted that place shut. You know what I mean? They didn't want people in it. And they said what they said was it's the IRS. That was the IRS. Whoever's supposed to be paying for that place did not pay for it. So all the money I was giving to the dude that I was basically buying it from was just taking it and funneling it back to me to buy from me. You know what I mean? But I thought he was all set because he had a carpet business and he was doing his thing. So I didn't think there was anything to worry about. I figured he had it covered. Like he had money.
So where do you go from there?
There's so much, I ended up I was in Atlanta one night. I come back up for how I ended up getting caught is I was in Atlanta. I ended up coming back up to see my parents for Thanksgiving. And my house ended up getting raided. I'm trying to skip it so I can keep it all within the hour, but I have to tell you. So I went to this dude's house. Me and him had issues in the past over his wife. So it was like, he was mad at me. He didn't like me. I ended up hitting him with a 2x4, and I got a case for hitting him with that 2x4. I guess the kids who were there that night told on me. He didn't tell though. I guess he kept his mouth shut, didn't give my name something, but which is solid. But yeah, I did get told on regardless, and I was too young to know.
It up, right? The state still picks it up.
I don't know. The state picked it up or something. It was actually just a straight up district court case. I didn't even get it. What's it called? Indicted for that.
You end up getting arrested for that, right?
Yeah, they came to my house, swatted my house the next night. I wasn't even, this is like the first time I stayed at my house in so long. I would avoid it. I was just, I think mentally I knew like I was close to being done with it, just being able to run like that. I would not come out unless it was dark out. I didn't even realize the stress it was causing me until I got arrested, and I realized just how much weight I felt like lifted off of my shoulders, and I fell asleep right in the back of the cruiser. But yeah, they got me that night. They grabbed me out of my house. Tried to say, they're like, "Oh, you here?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, he just left," because I have a twin brother. I'm like, they're like, "Is Matthew Tottenham here?" I'm like, "No, he just left."
You guys
He's going to
did you
get his
guys
dad.
used to do that a lot?
Yeah, me and Ryan. I mean, they would chase him around thinking he's me. We have identifying tattoos. You know what I mean? They started taking the pictures of our tattoos so that they could tell us apart because we're twins, and they kept on doing this. And Ryan actually got a harassment case against them for this same, because when I was on the run, I would come up from Atlanta and stay at a hotel sometimes for like a couple days and then just go back. And when he was coming to see me, they would pull him over in like every town, and you know what I mean, like trying to follow him. And sometimes he wouldn't even come there, like he would just have to go other places or not even make it at all. And he got me like, dude, they're bad, bro. Like, yeah. I felt bad.
People were
It's like,
probably telling him that you were in town, and then you
oh, yeah.
leave, and then he's still there, and they're like, "What the right?"
Yeah, definitely snitches. Yup.
So you go to county, and what happens with that one?
So I went in, I started off my first bid with 2.5 years for they wrapped up all the little like charges, like the robberies and the assault, and I forget, credit card frauds, forgeries. There was just so many different little things. They put it all in one little thing, gave me 2.5 years and sent me off to the county with that. But when I was in there, I ended up catching on, and after I smashed out a CO. His name was DeLuca. James DeLuca, his dude. He was just, he was big for nothing, motherfucker. Like from Brockton. He was from the hood. He thought he was this tough ass dude, bro. He would come into Barnstable County and just talk to anybody just however he wanted. And he got the wrong one with me, bro. And I broke his jaw, I broke his nose, gave him a concussion.
What was he saying to you? Like, how did
He
it
was saying,
transpire?
well, at first he was like, I was sitting in the door. All right, so me and his thing went back a little bit. I think he went to the same gym as me. We boxed at the same gym, but I don't remember this dude being there at all. So like when I got into a fight one day, I went to the hole, and he came down there at like breakfast. He was working the unit, and he was passing out breakfast, and he stopped at my door. He's like, "Yo, let me see your 1-2. Let me see your 1-2." And I looked at him. I'm like, "Do I know you?" He's like, "I know you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." You know what I mean? I'm like, "Well, have a nice day, bro." You know what I mean? Like, you, I'm not gonna sit here and be your little puppet. I'm gonna throw you little 1-2s where you're like, "Yeah, let me dance for you real quick." But no, I was like, yeah. So I told him to go fuck himself, and then after that, I ended up getting shipped to Worcester for a little bit, and then when I got shipped back, I seen this dude. I was a runner in the box. I was a runner down there. They had me STG'd to ADSEG because when I was in Worcester, I got down with the hooligans, which is it's like a prison gang. Well, that at this time it was only a county jail gang. Like it was a white dudes sticking together and shit in Worcester County.
So when you get down with a jail gang, how does that transpire? What's the process?
So when I got down, I went to Worcester County, and I apologize if I'm skipping over some of the things. I just want to make sure I get my story in there for you.
If we have to, we'll do another hour another time.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, we could do however many you want, man. I go to Worcester County, and I got shipped out after, what was it? Oh, I was in the hole with Jay, the kid Jay that I went to UIS with. He was actually in Barnstable County with me. So when he came in, I was in K pod. I was doing my 2.5 years, and I was looking out the window, and you could see the box from the window. And I see him down there, and he's like, "Yo, come down, bro." He's like, "We're gonna go." He's like, "We can party, man. We'll have a good time." And he's like signing with his hands to me, telling me to come down there. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I ended up getting lugged. I was just being an idiot, like talking to the cop. They did a little shakedown. I was trying to. I don't know. It was just mad adolescent stupid. Like, I'm gonna get lugged, go down and hang out with my friends. So I did. I got lugged. I went down, hung out with them. But we ended up fighting the move team like the first night, and then we ended up in the real solitaire, like next door in isolation cells. And when we were over there, it was like every time he's riding out, like he had major smoke with these cops. He just would not stop, bro. He's one of those people that just cannot take authority, bro. Like no matter what form. And he just was going crazy. So it was like, and he's from my area. So I'm feeling like, I have to ride out with the kid. Like I'm not going to let him go by himself. I was so young. Like I didn't have that, my own mind yet. You know what I mean? Like I just had the mind of, the group mentality in there in prison. Cause like you're young, you definitely don't go in there thinking, I'm going to be my own man. Like you go in there and you watch other people, you observe, you see how they move. And the way I've always been my whole life is I want to do it better than you. I want to do whatever you're doing. I can do it, but I can do it better. And like, that's what the way I was seeing it. Like, so I go to Worcester County, end up getting shipped there after we were stuck in the box, James fighting the move team. So I was too, they shipped us out. They're like, see you later. And so they shipped it to Worcester County, which is probably the at the time, 2007 around, it was like one of the toughest counties in Massachusetts. It's very, very gang ridden. Almost every single convict there is in a gang. It's the gangs that run that place is Latin Kings, Vice Lords, and Bloods. It's all five-star gangs. So anything that, is under the 5-point star. And then on top of it, you got the Worcester gangs, which is a lot of Spanish gangs. So like there's outlaws that are not represented by the 5. There's the outlaws that are, then, you got Kilby Street, which is a violent neighborhood. They definitely get it in. So you got all these different little gangs in there. And so they were coming at the white guys. You come in with a package, you come in with anything. They were having dudes, they would put newspaper on the floor and beat your ass and make you shit on that newspaper. Now, mind you, these are kids I feel like they know they can do it to. You know what I mean? Like they might have tried it with me, but they wouldn't succeed. You know what I mean? But
they would do it to people they know they can do that to, like people that would be cower up to them, right?
Absolutely, bro. Easy wins. You know what I mean? And fuel the prison. So wherever there's money involved or involved, like coming into that place, like, a lot of those guys were very hooked on. You know what I mean? So if they got the chance to get it, like, it's like the streets, bro. And the COs in that place were like us almost in a way. Obviously they're COs, you know what I mean? But they were like kids that were in the street, just like, working at the local county jail but they didn't like all together act like COs. You know what I mean? Like we were getting the Playboy magazines, Dip, like they would come in and chill. Like they weren't on that type for the most part. I know it changed a lot recently. Like that place is definitely different, but back then it was really open, man. It was really open.
Do they ask you to be down with the gang?